So the take-home message of that last game was that you should always cast detect traps. Many times you'll get Angband games that just give you that take-home lesson. Sometimes you'll die for no apparent reason. But I am not intended to stop the series and let a little thing like being brutally murdered get me down. Just one more body on the top of the dead pile that is Law's pedigree. And now that I've explained the basics of this game, hang on, scruffy little dog, I'm full of hate, this has been well established. Now I've explained the basics of this game, I can perhaps go a little bit faster this time around. I just went down because I didn't want to deal with that townsperson, but now there's a snake. I'm just gonna sleep in the corner, because I gotta get my phase door experience in. Still hasn't woken up the snake, though, which is really interesting, so now I'm gonna murder it. You know, he's a really heavy sleeper, apparently. And, yeah, I don't know how many times I'm going to die before I'm convinced it is time to stop this Let's Play series. I guess this guy's out of range, but we are not even close to that number. As you can see there, the magic missile does have a range, specifically... Oh, it doesn't say. But, as you just saw, magic missile quite obviously does have a range. And so that's another thing to keep in mind, that just because you can see it doesn't mean you can murder it. And there's another invisible thing. My love of them being well established. It's dead! And so I'm gonna, take things a little bit faster, because that's the entire point of, making a second, continuing to play after I die. Well, the reason is because I just invested all that time ensuring that if you're watching this in order, you know the basics. And now I don't need to re-explain the basics, and we can hopefully go a little bit more accelerated here and try to get back to where that previous law was before. Sometimes it's fun to put a new Roman numeral each time they die. In the case of Law, though, that way would quickly bring us to madness. I don't know the rules for Roman numerals past 100, and quite frankly, I would be kind of depressed if I ever had to learn them. So I just keep them as plain old Law each time. Actually, we're going to go through the archives of history, go to the Hall of Fame. As you can see there, Law and Steven are my two big characters, and probably shouldn't be showing this because this shows just how terrible I am at Angband, where my highest guy is level 14. But you know how people make those weight loss videos? This is kind of like that for me, except instead of weight, the key concept is lack of skill at a video game. But the principle is the same. You can see Law and Steven, my two characters, have gotten level 10, 10, 12, 13, 14, killed by some exotic things. And so you can imagine, if I keep going, I've got up to 34 characters on just this computer alone. And so, to add Roman numerals each death would start getting some stupid names pretty fast. Oh, there's a novice warrior who just hit me a bunch. This is why you see it, instead of using period, I just hit up, and that costs you, so I'm gonna phase the hell away. I'm sorry, I'm going to go up the stairs. If you can find stairs, they're a quick way to escape bad situations like that. I'm gonna rest to full. There's an aimless-looking merchant. I'm going to not murder him in cold blood just this once, because I don't believe you actually get experience for murdering townspeople, so we'll let that slide. And just kind of keep exploring through the dungeon, this time remembering to use period and not the arrow keys, because if you just mash the arrow keys over and over, I don't have detect right now, which is really sad. You just mash the arrow keys over and over, you can sometimes mash your way into death. Unless, of course, you're a warrior, because warriors, when you attack someone melee, I'm sure you've noticed by now, you just kind of walk into them. And so if you're a warrior, for the first 5 levels or so, you can really be kind of unaware of your surroundings. When you play a warrior, the part where you have to start thinking doesn't really begin until it's about, what consumables do you have on your person to avoid various negative status effects. And that's really why I'm not playing a warrior, because as you just saw by the fact that Law Mk.II died, there's a lot of things you need to learn to keep yourself alive, like always cast, detect, etc., etc. But had that been a blinded half-troll, I could have just flailed around wildly and probably killed the thing anyway. And so, which would mean that I would get to a higher level faster, but I really wouldn't be teaching you the good habits up until the point when you perhaps need to start buying the loot, and then, I might not even survive that long, knowing me. One lesson to point out there, you saw me fighting the rock lizard. I could have phased away there, but I didn't. And sometimes, phasing, as you've seen, is really low range, and costs 2 SP. Sometimes, it's better just to stand your ground and try to kill something, rather than phase away. That can actually sometimes preserve you better. There's 5 Azure potions. Definitely want to go sell all of those if I live long enough to make it to the shop. This is the Self-Depreciation playthrough where I have to spend one time just criticizing myself for dying in a really stupid way. So that's what this is. This is the me feeling sorry for myself. The Let's Play episode. That really shouldn't have taken me that long to figure out what the word is for the next installment in an episodic sequence. As you can see, we're playing back and forth, which would seem like a good tactic till you remember that mouse targeting does exist, and I'm just too lazy to use it. I missed there. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't mouse target as much as I do, or as fast as I do, rather, because I miss sometimes. There's not too much to talk about right now, because all of the monsters I have more or less killed, and I'm just trying to scour and find some little corner like this that I've abandoned. Molds can't move, which is why that mold had a lot of health. As you can see, he would have done a lot of damage, but he couldn't get to me. And finally, I'm back to this spell that I need to remember to cast all the time, and not just most of the time. And fire off my 2 spells to learn them, get that experience. And I am level 3 again, and I am still on dungeon level 1. And as evidenced before, as long as I remember to keep detecting for traps, it's no danger to a level 3 guy to be on the 2nd dungeon level, especially if you're cautious with detect monster, which I would use more, but as I said before, there's not too many dangerous things. There's not really a monster I would see and say, oh, that means I shouldn't go there. That happens a bit later, when you start getting the deadly unique monsters that have got really badass stats in general, and they kill you a lot. You saw there was a kind of little cluster of worms. Now, normally when you're fighting a cluster, you would Stinking Cloud, but worms are actually resistant to that kind of damage, which go figure. Fortunately here, there's a lot of jackals, which this will be a great situation for me to show off that spell. M-A-H. Death. Close the door. As long as there's no human among them, they won't figure out this door thing. M-A-H. Let's target it there. That was a lot of jackal killing there. Now my contributions to the Anti-Humane Society can be paid in bulk. So, keep on. I was in a detect trap zone already. I'm just looking for doors now. Actually, one feature that helps is I may have already found a door. I can hit capital M, go into my map and say, oh, there's some stairs down, which, as I said before, I'm feeling pretty good about my skills. I'm going to go, oh, there's the stores. Actually, right there, I passed them multiple times already. But now I want to kill these jackals first, because they got it coming to them. You saw that mold there, just did a lot of damage to me. Want to avoid that. I'm going to actually just ignore these jackals. I'm going to go down to dungeon level 2. I'm going to pick up my next video from here, and hopefully I'll be able to survive another 10 minutes.